About a week ago, I came outside of my house to find a brand new all-electric 2020 Mini Cooper right there on my driveway with the key fob in my mailbox. So at first I thought, well, maybe one of my rich uncles died, but then I remembered I did book this media car with BMW, and it was finally here. It just hit the US market a few weeks ago, and I spent some real good quality time, an entire week, getting to know this car. I'm going to tell you the highlights and the shortcomings that it has so you can make your own decision whether or not this car is for you. I had the top of the line trim, so I was able to play with all of the options. It was Mini Cooper SE, where S stands for sport and E stands for
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E for electric.
electric. E for electric. I should really know that. Welcome to my channel where you get the scoop about electric cars weekly. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Let's jump right in. I'm going to tell you about all of the notable features because they are important. Much like with dating, one little thing can either turn you on or turn you off. And then at the end, I'll tell you about two really big numbers, which will probably seal your decision on whether or not you're going to be swiping left or right on this car. Boy, I've been using the dating apps for way too long. Can you tell? Since it's what's on the inside that matters, at least that's what my mom always told me, we're gonna start with the interior. And it's way more spacious than you may think. It's definitely spacious in front, but even though it's a bit of a squeeze to get in and out of the back seat, once you're there, it's actually pretty comfortable. And you better be really thirsty because even though there are only 2 seats, there are 3 cup holders. The dashboard is kind of funky, but that's how Mini Coopers always looked from the very beginning, and people who like them really like that. You can also see it has a lot of switches like in the airplane cockpit, and even though it's not my cup of tea per se, I thought it was something different for a change, so I was really digging it. The ring around the center console lights up in all kinds of colors, but much like with most women that I've dated, I knew it was trying to communicate something to me. I just couldn't understand what it meant, except for one. When it was red, I knew it was angry with me, like that one time when I was trying to back into my washing machine. Other than that, complete mystery. The screen is on a smaller side for my taste. As a matter of fact, it's not that much bigger than my actual phone, especially when I was trying to use maps or the navigation system. As a matter of fact, when I needed to navigate somewhere, I used the Google Maps on my phone, but for everything else, it was okay. There is no support for Android Auto. However, if you have an iPhone, you're in luck because it does support Apple CarPlay, probably part of some sort of a cult package. The monitor is touchscreen, but you can also control it with a set of buttons in the center console. I was really excited when I found out that this car had a head-up display, but when it rose up from the dashboard like Beyonce at the concert, I was kind of disappointed. I thought we moved on from this technology to where the information is actually projected onto the windshield so I can keep my head, up, like the name suggests. Look how close the speedometer on the display behind my steering wheel is to the head-up display in my line of sight. Kind of makes it almost useless. Instead of the head-up display, I would rather have them spend money on something else when they were manufacturing this car, and I'm talking about the power seats. That's right, no matter how much money you're going to spend on this car, no matter which options you're going to pick, you are not going to get the power seats. I was so upset about this car not having it that I completely forgot that my own car, the Chevy Volt, didn't have it either. And the reason I forgot was because the last time I had to worry about it was in summer of 2018 when I got the damn thing. So unless you're going to be sharing this car with someone else on a regular basis, you probably won't have to worry about it either. It took me a while to find the start-stop button, mainly because it's hard to find a button that doesn't exist. It was a switch. Of course, it was a switch. Also, the driver gets 2 sun visors, one up front and one on the left, which is actually kind of practical. If you're gonna have your wife or your girlfriend ride with you, you'll probably hear almost right away how small the makeup mirror is inside the car. And another thing they're not gonna like is the fact that you cannot unlock their door, the passenger door, using the button on your door handle. So you're either gonna have to take out your key fob and do it that way, which is inconvenient, or you're gonna have to get into the car first and then unlock the door from the inside. And you know how much they love waiting around for an extra 2.5 seconds, waiting for their doors are locked while you're already inside. So just heads up. Speaking of the key fob, this one does look like it was designed in the 1980s. Nothing compared to the slick key fob from Tesla or the new Pebble fob for the upcoming Fiat 500. Now let's examine the car from the outside. Before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Avanex, Tesla Community's accessory store. Use E4Electric as a discount code for all of your purchases over $100. All right, let's talk about the exterior. Now, the first thing you're going to notice when you're getting in or out of the car is that the floor light will display the Mini logo on the pavement, especially when it's dark outside. Now, usually most cars only have this as an option from a third-party vendor as the aftermarket accessory, but Mini already comes with it, so I thought it was pretty cool. As you can see, the wheels have an unusual but pretty cool design. It was supposed to resemble the European electric outlets. Originally, it was named, unfortunately, the Corona Spoke, but the Mini representative has reached out to me to make sure that before I post this review, I am aware that they renamed it from the Corona Spoke to the Power Spoke. Even though the car is relatively small, it has not one but two sunroofs. It also has a backup camera and the sensors, and the proximity sensor graphics in the feed from the camera are displayed on the main screen. Now, I don't know what the hell this is. I can only assume this is a leftover from some sort of a discontinued CB radio package, but I know it's not helping with the aerodynamics. Now, it doesn't have a frunk, which is a front trunk, because originally this car was designed as a gas car, so the electric motor goes up front. And I genuinely tried to lift the hood, and as you can see, I kept the camera rolling, and I couldn't. So I didn't get to see it, and you don't get to see it, but it's a motor. It goes vroom vroom, or in this case, and that's that. On the other side of the car, there's really not that much to report on because there's simply not enough space for anything. I mean, you can't even fit a 5'8" YouTuber in there. So if you were going camping or are planning on some sort of a kidnapping, this car is probably not for you. Though I do have to be fair and say that the back seats do lay down to make just a little bit more space. The charge port is on the right side of the car and it can take level 2 and fast DC charging. Both connectors have little covers on them, though if it was my car, I would probably get rid of them because I don't really see a reason to have covers underneath another cover, which is the charge port door itself. This car can charge at the maximum rate of 50 kilowatts through a CCS connector and get you to 80% charge in just about 35 minutes. However, it will take another 25 minutes to get it all the way to 100%. I was disappointed that the car comes with a home charger that is only for 110 volt outlets, which means it will take you about 24 hours to fully charge it. So I used my own level 2 charger to get it to the full charge in about 3.5 hours. Now let's talk about the ride. To my surprise, I had a lot of fun driving it. I felt a lot of instant torque and power. However, I was shocked to find out that the official 0 to 60 for this car is 7.3 seconds. Now I mainly drove it in a sport mode, which I had to switch to every time I got into the car, but it was all worth it. There are 2 levels of regen braking, and the higher level allows you to do one pedal driving, and I absolutely loved it. It was designed very nicely. The car slowed down and stopped at the points where I wanted it to stop without having to give it more acceleration. The mandatory low speed alert was definitely noticeable from the inside the car and louder when you were backing up. This is what it sounds like. Now that I told you everything about the features of the car, let's talk about 2 things that will probably make it or break it for most buyers. We're going to start with the price. The price is probably the best feature of this car. The car starts under $30,000. With a federal tax credit in the United States, it will drop to $22,500. And with some local and state incentives, it can easily go under $20,000. So what's the catch? Well, that's the other thing we need to talk about, and it is the range. The EPA rating is 110 miles, though there's a little bit of good news because unlike many other electric cars, this range is pretty accurate. As a matter of fact, some of the drivers have reported getting extra 20 or even 30 miles above the EPA rating. So if you only need to drive over 100 miles per day a couple of times a year, maybe you live in a city, maybe it's your commuter car or it's your second family car, then it's a great choice for you. However, if you need to drive more than 100 miles a day a few times a year or more, then you probably should look somewhere else. I hope this helped. If it did, consider supporting this channel on Patreon at patreon.com/E4Electric. I also put that link in the description of this video. Looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.